Hey there, all my sweet friends, pals, and confidants. I just realized I've been talking for a good half hour and I didn't push the start button. So I went on and on and on about Ruth, and so I guess I'm going to backtrack and tell you, first of all, it is 31 degrees outside here in St. Augustine. Yeah, I've been talking for a half hour because I started at 6:15. It's now 7:15. And I forgot to push the start button. Because I looked up to see how long it had been I'd been talking so far, and I realized there are no red numbers up there. So we're going to go back to the beginning of what I was saying, and that was this morning in my cup, I got espresso. I started drinking espresso. Well, the first time I had it was when I went to Brazil, and man, did I love that caffeine. That was amazing. I was awake for 3 days. Prior to that, the only way I got my caffeine was in a soda. And I always heard that there's much caffeine in a soda as there is in coffee. No, there's not. I'm telling you right now. I had a little task of espresso on the airplane in Brazil between Sao Paulo and Cuiabá, which was like a puddle jumper airplane. I was freezing and wanted something hot. I didn't know how to say hot chocolate in Portuguese. I knew that café was the word for coffee, and around the world it's kind of universal. So they gave me this little espresso that was hot, but when I stirred it, it looked like cough syrup. It was so thick, but it was so sweet, delicious. It woke me right up. It was just like 11 o'clock at night by this time, maybe even later. And like I said, I was awake for 3 days. It was awesome. So that's when I first started drinking espresso. But I got my espresso maker this year since I moved here to St. Augustine. And I had the pods from the old espresso maker, because when I bought this, I didn't realize there were two different kinds of pods. The old ones look kind of like bullets, and the new ones are actually pods. They're round pods. And so at my garage sale back in November, I tried to sell the boxes of the bullet ones that I had, and they never sold. And I had them marked pretty cheap. I think I had them marked like $8 a box, which was probably half of what I paid for them, or maybe even less than half. They might even have been like $20 a box. Anyways, I had 4 boxes. They didn't sell, but then a man gave me an idea, and he said recycle them. He said you can buy on Amazon the pot, just empty out these and put them in there and use those. So that's what I did. Only I went a step further, and my old pods that I had used up that were made for this machine, I actually recycled about 20 of those. Yesterday I did 17, so I got enough for the next 2 weeks at least. That's 1 a day. And it's very cool. So I recycled them. But on Amazon, did you know Amazon has a dollar store? They have a dollar store, they have a $5 store, which is everything under $5. But I got this thing. I love it. So what I was doing was I would make my espresso in my big cup, which really did not fit. So I would have to like wedge it in there and move this little coffee ground keeper that I have in my water for my coffee. I had to wedge it in there because the first time I did it, it knocked over and there was espresso everywhere. So I've learned. But with this, I don't have to do that. I raise the shelf up and I put that on there and beep, espresso. And then got little pour things and I just poured that into my coffee. So it's kind of a double espresso because I have a cup of coffee and an espresso. Woohoo! I need that this morning. I gotta watch the clock. I can't stay on for a half hour this time because I'm going for my boob squishing. If you know, you know. Yeah, that's at 8:05. So I need to leave here about 7:45 till 8. So in about an hour, I need to leave here. So, okay, what all did I talk about before when I was just talking? It's freezing, it's 31 degrees, it's gonna be sunshiny. I covered all my plants last night and they are gonna stay covered for this entire week. This week is winter and hopefully this is the whole winter this week. I can hear the comments from my cousins now. A week! Yep, a week. And that's plenty. I live in Florida on purpose. My parents moved here when I was in between junior high and high school. I stay on purpose. All my children were born here. My grandchildren, my children-in-law were all born here, except for one. She was born in Alabama. And all my grandchildren were all born here. This is home. Even if they weren't all born here, this is home. I don't like to be cold. I don't like to be super hot either. I have thyroid issues, so I have trouble regulating my internal temperature, but I can always put something warm. I have this robe that I had on this morning. My daughter bought me this robe years ago. It's huge, which is perfect. It like wraps around me 3 times. It's from Victoria's Secrets. Can you imagine something like this came from Victoria's Secrets? But it did. It has a VS on the pocket. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm sitting on it, so I can't show it to you. It has can you see that? Isn't that cool? That's where I put my phone when I get up and take the dog out. I'm wearing fur-lined Crocs. That's my morning routine when I go take the dog out. Well, it was 31 degrees. He didn't want to do his thing. He took one step out on the grass area and turned around and came back. But I have an area that is, my mind just went blank. The red barky stuff. And he piddled in there. So we came back in. Normally I won't let him get away with not going out, potty out there. I'll stay out there till he does. But it was too cold. 31 degrees, that is cold, folks. In anybody's book, that's cold. All my plants are covered. They're gonna stay covered all week. They'll be craving sunshine by the time this is over. I have a whole bunch, of succulents. I just love their look, so I have a lot of them. So they're all covered, and I'm praying that they're gonna make it through this winter. I could probably bring them in for the week. I think I might do that, just to be on the safe side. I'll have to figure out where I can. Yeah, I think I'm gonna bring them in. And then I just have to worry about my herb garden and my tomatoes. Oh my goodness, my tomato plant has just been crazy. I mean, dozens and dozens of little tomatoes off that thing. It's just been the happiest little producer. Of course, my cucumber plant died. My strawberry plant is happy. The pepper plant is just kind of been dormant since I bought it. All my herb plants are doing extremely well. I had a problem with cilantro in the beginning. I had tried 3 times planting different cilantro, and I really do like cilantro. But this last one that I did about 3 months ago has been doing very, very well. So hopefully this cilantro survives. I got basil and dill and rosemary and thyme, and all of them. And I'd love to have a big vegetable garden, but yeah, it's just not in the plan because this yard isn't big enough. It's mostly pavers, have little areas, and my husband has the one area, and it's all flowering plants, pretty plants. So there's really no place to put vegetables. If I had my way, I would move all the beautiful flowering plants that are there, take out that palm tree and use that for vegetables. But it's my husband's house, so it's his way. And it's beautiful. He's an amazing gardener. Our yard is probably the prettiest yard in the entire subdivision. And now my girlfriend Jan has a beautiful yard too. We went over to her house the other day for CO to look at some construction that she had done. She just wanted his opinion on whether it was okay for her to sign off on it. But I was admiring some of her plants, and she gave me 2 succulents, and I'm excited about those, and I'm going to bring those in too. So yeah, that's Ruth. Talk about Ruth for a minute. Ruth's life was pretty hopeless. Ruth and Naomi. They left Moab because they had no way to support themselves. They had no family, no friends. Probably did have some friends. Ruth was from there, so she had family. And Naomi had been there, I think I read somewhere that she had been there 10 years. So they probably did have friends, but not, family that were going to take care of them. So that was why Ruth, when Naomi heard that the famine in Bethlehem was over, she decided to return to Bethlehem, and Ruth went with her. Now, 2 single women, 1 elderly, had no way to support themselves. Now, Naomi did have property, I believe. And the more I think about it, the more I think maybe she did not have property. That maybe it was sold or taken over while they were gone for those 10 years. Because Boaz bought the property. So it doesn't say that he bought it from Naomi. It just says he bought the property. So anyways, he made it so that Naomi was going to be taken care of for the rest of her life. He was so kind. I could say more about him. He was more, I just found some bowls that I was looking for. He was more than kind. He was what we would call a godly man. And he took Ruth and Naomi in, and he cared for them, and he loved them, and he took care of them, and they never had to worry about finances ever again. And Ruth bore a child who ended up being David's great-grandfather. No, David's grandfather? One of those. So God's going to take care of us. It may not always have the look that we want. I'm not rich. I'm not driving, well, my husband drives a Mercedes. I drive a Ford. I drive a Ford Edge, but it gets me where I need to go. I did have a flat tire a few weeks ago, but God took care of that too. And my daughter's mailbox tore off the handle on the passenger side door. It just jumped right out in the driveway and tore that handle right off my car. My brand new car. I'd only had it a week when the mailbox tore that handle off. You know, I was backing out of the driveway and her mailbox just jumped right in the driveway and tore that handle right off. Put a big long scratch down it. So God takes care of us. God provided for me back when I just thought I was doing the right thing. Sorry, I'm having a pain. Sent me to nursing school. My kids were young. Chalet, I think, was in the 2nd grade, so Michael was in kindergarten. Ricky was in preschool, and my mom watched the kids because the man-child that I was married to did not babysit his children. So mom took care of them while I went to school and worked. I worked 2 part-time jobs. I worked as an EKG technician on the weekends, and I worked at Burger King at night. And somehow I made it through. So I don't ever want to hear any excuses why someone didn't go to school. There's plenty of money out there. You just got to hunt for it. There are grants and scholarships and loans. I mean, if you have to take out a loan, take out a loan. Plan on paying it back, though. Don't just take a loan and think, oh, I'll default on it. Yeah, you'll ruin the credit for the rest of your life. But, you know, you do what you got to do. But there are scholarships and there are grants. And we could have survived on the scholarships and grants. We did take out a loan, and I wish we hadn't. Although it paid for my car, and I had to have a car. I had to have a car while I was going to school because there was, you know, clinicals and classes, and we just had one car, and Pat had to have a car to get back and forth to work. And so, and then when I was working, I needed a car because sometimes I would go to work before he got home. So yeah, my mom took care of the kids while I was in school. Thank God for that. My mom was a wonderful grandmother. She wasn't a great mother. I'm not even going to pretend that she was. My brother and sister will attest to that. Anybody that lived in our neighborhood and could hear the screaming could attest to that. But yeah, she wasn't a great mom. But like I said, she was a wonderful grandmother. And I trusted her completely with my kids because she proved herself with my kids. Very early on, I could see that she loved and adored Chalet, and then Michael. And Ricky, you know, Ricky was Ricky. He was a handful, but she still took good care of Ricky. I didn't have to worry about him. And he was my precious baby boy. So, and then, you know, when my husband decided that our marriage was not what he wanted, and he wanted to be with somebody else, God took care of me because of that job. I supported us all through his college and grad school. He did work part-time at the college, and then when he was in grad school, he worked at a Christian book publisher. And thank goodness for those, because that helped pay for our rent, because the rent was very, very expensive in Chicago. We lived in the burbs, and I was doing case management, which was great because it was a company car was provided. So God provides. God provides. It may not always be a hand over gift. It might be something you have to actually work for. I had to work to become a registered nurse. It wasn't given to me. I had to do my own studying. It didn't just come to me. I loved studying nursing. It was awesome. I'm so glad that I did it. But God, it was a God thing, because I had no intentions of being a nurse. I was not one of those little girls that wanted to be a nurse. I was a very sickly kid and spent a lot of time at doctor's offices and in the hospital. I'd had 2 major surgeries by the time I was 7 on this side of my head for a tumor. And nurses were not always nice. There were some of them that were just downright mean. And I was a little kid, and so, yeah, I was not going to be one of those mean, nasty people. But then I grew up and I got a job in a doctor's office, and I was jealous of the nurses. People didn't like me because I was asking for money, but they loved the nurses. And so, yeah, that's why I became a nurse. And I remember for like a year, I kept thinking, oh, I'd love to go to nursing school. I'd love to go to nursing school, but it's expensive, it's time consuming. I don't know how we could do it. And I kept telling my husband, I think I want to be a nurse. And we never really discussed it seriously, because just the thought of all those years of college, and, you know, my kids were little, and was it even possible? And I was driving down Volusia Avenue, as it was called back in that day. And now it's called International Speedway Boulevard, because like within walking distance from the college was the Speedway. You could actually stand out in front of the college and look down and see the Speedway. So one day I was driving to the Volusia Mall, and I was driving, getting ready to go past the college, and the thought entered my mind, one of these days I'm going to go there and I'm going to find out if it's even possible for me to go to nursing school. And I heard this sweet, small voice, and, you know, my thought was, one of these days, and the voice said, today is that day. And I was like, I had no plans to go to the college that day. When I left, I had all the paperwork for Pell Grant and scholarships. I had put myself on the waiting list for nursing school. I signed up for 4 classes, I think English, nutrition, psychology, something else. English, nutrition, psychology, anatomy, and physiology. Those were my first 4 classes. And I did really well. I got grants. My grants almost completely paid for my tuition. And then later on I got a scholarship that paid me a monthly stipend, and that paid for my car. And then we had to take out loans because I needed clothes. I didn't have clothes. I was, you know, a stay-at-home mom. I didn't have clothes. I had probably five or 6 shirts and a couple pairs of jeans and probably 3 pairs of shoes. Yeah, I'm thinking back to what my closet looked like, and I don't even remember what my closet looked like at the time. It probably was pretty darn empty. Where was that closet? Cindy, in your bedroom, there had to have been a closet. Yeah, I remember. I remember where the closet was now, but I don't remember there being anything in it. I just didn't have a lot of clothes. So when I went to nursing school, I had to have clothes. So I bought some clothes to go to nursing school, and then I had to buy uniforms. Well, the uniforms didn't come till the 2nd year. And a girlfriend gave me 3 sets. She had bought them for herself, and they were too big. They were too big for me too, but beggars can't be choosy. So thank God for Sheila DeFreitas. I loved her. She's in heaven now. She was so beautiful. Oh my gosh, she was beautiful. Inside and out. So yeah, God provides. God provides. God provided for Ruth and Naomi. He'll provide for you. But he wants you to love him and acknowledge him. Acknowledge him in everything that you think and say and do. And he'll take care of you. Okay, I need to get ready to go for my boob squishing. I love y'all. Oh, I started to tell you, I told you actually the first time I recorded this. We've just finished Ruth, and I want to do a series on people, post-biblical people. And the first 3 are going to be fun. The first one is going to be St. Augustine. And I've already started doing a little bit of research. I'll do more as the time goes by. But I'm doing research on St. Augustine. He's a pretty cool guy. And I want to do St. Valentine's, because Valentine's Day is coming up. St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner too, so I'm going to do St. Patrick. So, and then St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of pets. So those 4 are going to be the first 4 that I'm going to do. I will not be able to do one every day because it's going to take quite a bit of research, because I want to bring you interesting information about these people, and I want to make sure that it's the truth, that it's not just rumors that I'm saying, oh yeah, well this is what the internet says. Well, we know what the internet says. It's not always the truth. ABC, NBC, and CBS get it wrong too. And Fox, I'm not saying any of them get it right 100% of the time. They don't. There's things going on in Minnesota right now that I don't know. What's the truth? Because you listen to one news article and they're saying this, listen to another news article and they're saying this, and I'm caught here in the middle and I don't know what to think. And then I think, oh, well, that's none of my business. But it could be, what if they came to North Central Florida? All that horrible ugliness. I don't know what to think. I know what a lot of people want me to think, but I'm not going there. Just because you believe something doesn't mean I have to believe it. So yeah, I'm confused. Like I said, there are things that sound truthful on both sides. So somewhere in the middle is the truth. There's a nurse that just got shot by the ICE agents. Should they have shot him? I don't think so. But should he have been carrying a gun to a peaceful protest? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So should he have been shot and killed for that? I don't think so. Did he pull a gun on them? I don't know. Some reports say he did, some reports said he didn't. Who am I to believe? I don't know. This world is crazy. Anyway, I digress. We're going to talk about these 4 people over the next month or so. And I'm going to do research and watch videos, maybe a couple movies. I know I saw a movie just recently on Polycarp. And I remember seeing one years and years ago about St. Valentine. So, of course, these movies have artistic license, so you don't know what's true, what's not. So I've got a lot of names on my list. Actually, comment in the comments below if you have any suggestions. I'll tell you who I have so far. St. Augustine, St. Valentine, St. Patrick, St. Francis of Assisi, Polycarp, Mother Teresa, St. Vincent de Paul, Agatha, Martin Luther, King James, C.S. Lewis, Billy Graham, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, John Wesley, Constantine, Charles Dickens, the Knights Templar, Louis Palau. I got a couple of Our Lady of Fatima, Our Lady of Guadalupe, Our Lady of Lourdes. Not that I'm going to tell you a lot about Mary. We know everything that I need to know about Mary. She was a beautiful, wonderful person. Is she someone to be worshipped? Absolutely not. And then I put 2 people, one of whom you may know. You may have heard me talk about, actually you may have heard me talk about both these people. But I want to honor them. 2 men, actually I might add a third. I'm going to add a third right now. 3 men that have had the biggest impact in my life as a Christian. And I want to do little memorials to them. One of them just passed away last week, and that's Virgil Hall. He was my pastor when I was young. I did not get saved under his ministry, but I came to his ministry less than a year after I got saved. And then his brother Dave had a huge impact on my life. He was my youth leader. His wife was our praise team leader, Gwen. So I'm going to talk about them and their families and their impact on my life. And then the one person that had the biggest impact on my life, my Uncle Tom Ballou. So I'm going to do one on him, and I'll probably tag all my cousins in that one, because I'll probably say things about Uncle Tom that you may not have known. I'm going to call my cousin Tammy and my cousin TJ, they're his daughter and son, and get more information on things that are a little fuzzy in my head. So those are the list of people that I would like to concentrate on. Now this may take months to go through all this, because like I said, I can't do one every day because each one requires research. So if you have any names that I didn't list, please type it in down below. Let me know what you're drinking. Is it coffee? Is it espresso? Is it both, like mine is? Or is it tea? Or is it soda? Is it water? Is it milk? Is it juice? What's in your cup? Mine has a chip. I'm so sad. This is my honeymoon mug. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. See ya. Bye.